And it came to pass, when Jesus had finished all these sayings, he said unto the disciples,
My disciples, I'm so glad you all are here. I'm so thankful that you chose life and to walk with me and be fishers of men. But I must tell you, not 2 days hence, the Passover will be here, and I, the Son of Man, will be betrayed. And it will be by one of you at this table. But that's okay, because I come to do the will of the Father.
Then he assembled together the chief priests, the scribes, the elders of the people, unto the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, and consulted that they might take Jesus by subtlety and kill him. But they said,
How do we get to Jesus to kill him?
We would need someone close to him.
What about one of the disciples?
No one would turn on him. They're too loyal.
Not so sure about that. They're with the poor and without.
There's no time to spare. Once he is apprehended, he must be executed.
But the feast, we can't do it during the feast. The people will be in uproar.
Now when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box, a very precious ointment, and poured it on his
Yes, my
head
child.
as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had
Give me that.
indignation,
That's
saying,
$29.99. That's expensive oil.
Yeah, we can use that for the poor.
When Jesus understood it, he said unto them,
Leave this woman be. For I tell you, what she's done is a beautiful thing. The poor you will have with you always, but I will not be with you always. What she's done is prepared me for my burial, for your good. I tell you this, that wherever the gospel is preached, this woman will be heard of for her anointing of the Son of Man.
Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went out with the chief priest. And he said unto them,
What are you willing to give me for this Jesus?
And I will deliver him unto you. And they coveted with him 30 pieces of silver. And from that time he sought opportunity to betray him. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wilt thou be? And we prepare for thee to eat Passover. And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The master saith, My time is at hand, and I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples. And the disciples did as Jesus had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. And now when even was come, they sat down with the 12. And as they did eat, he said, Verily I say unto you, that one shall betray me. And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and began every one of them saying unto him, Lord, is it I? And he answered and said, He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goeth out as it is written of him. But woe unto the man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? And he said unto him, Thou hast said. And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said,
Take, eat, for this is my body.
And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it unto them, saying,
And next, Father, may you bless this wine. My disciples, when you drink all of it. For this represents my blood that will be shed for the remission of the sins of all who believes in me. But I must tell you, I will not drink of this cup at this time. For I will wait for you in my Father's kingdom, and we will drink together. Take some. Pass.
And when they had sung an hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Then said Jesus unto them, All ye shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. But after I am risen again, I will go before you into Galilee. Peter answered and said unto him,
Even if all were to stray, I will not.
Before the rooster crows, you will deny me. Not once, not twice, 3 times, Peter.
I will die before I deny you.
Peter, only if you live.
Then cometh Jesus with them unto the place called Gethsemane. And he said unto the disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then he said unto them, My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. And he went a little further, and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep. And he said unto Peter, What, could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. And the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away again, and on the second time, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, and for their eyes were heavy. And he left them, and went away again, and prayed the 3rd time, saying the same words. Then cometh he unto his disciples, and said unto them, Sleep on now, take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, and let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doeth betray me. And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came. He came with him, and with a great multitude, with swords and staves, from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now that he betrayed him, and gave him the sign, saying, Whomsoever I shall kiss, that same is he. Hold him fast. And forthwith he came to Jesus and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. And Jesus said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they, and laid hands on Jesus, and took him. And behold, one of them which were Jesus stretched out his hand, and drew his sword, and struck a servant on the high priest, and smote off his ear. Then Jesus said unto him, Put up again thy sword unto this place, for all they that take sword shall perish by the sword. Thinkest thou that I cannot pray to my Father, and give thee, thou shalt presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled, that thus it must be? And they that laid hold on Jesus led him away to Caiaphas the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's palace, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. Now the chief priests and the elders and all the council sought false witness against Jesus to put him to death, but found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came to false witnesses, and
That
said,
man said he can destroy the temple and build it again in 3 days.
And the high priest arose and said unto him, Answerest thou nothing? What is it in which thee witness against thee? But Jesus held his peace. And the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, be the Son of God. Jesus said unto him, Thou hast said it. Then the high priest rent his clothes, and saying he had spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witness? Now Peter said, Without indeed in the palace. And a damsel came unto him, saying, Thou also wast unto Jesus of Galilee. But he denied before them, all saying, I know not what thou sayest. And then when he was going out into the porch, another maid saw him, and said unto them that were there, This fellow was also with Jesus of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man. And after a while came unto him They stood by and said to Peter, Surely thou art also one of them, for thy speech betrayeth thee. Then he began to curse and to swear, saying, I know not the man. And immediately the cock
I
crew.
don't know that man.
And Peter remembered the word of Jesus,
I guarantee you,
which said
before
unto
the
him,
rooster crows,
Before the cock
you will
crows,
deny me.
and thou
Not
shalt
once,
not deny me thrice.
not twice,
And went out,
but 3
and he
times
wept
you will.
bitterly. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself, and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, What is that to us? See that thou art to do that. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple, and departed, and went and hanged himself. And the chief priest took the silver pieces, and said, It is not lawful for to put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood. And Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And Jesus said,
It is as you say.
saith. And when they accused him of the chief priests and the elders, he answered nothing. Therefore, when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto him, Whom will ye that thou will release unto you, Barabbas or Jesus, which is called the Christ? For he knew that the envy that they had delivered him. And when he sat down on the judgment seat, his wife sent unto him, saying, Have thou nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Jesus. The governor answered and said unto him, Whether of the twain will you that I release unto you? They said, Barabbas. And Pilate said unto him, What shall I do then with Jesus, which is called the Christ? They all said unto him, Let him be crucified. And the governor said, Why would you have asked for such an evil thing? But they cried out the more, saying, Let him be crucified. When Pilate saw that he could not prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. Then answered all the people and said, His blood be on us and all of our children. And when he had scourged Jesus and delivered him to be crucified, and as they came out, they found a man named Simon, a man who was compelled to bear the cross. And when they were coming to the place called Golgotha, this is to say the place of the skull, they gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall. And when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments upon them, and upon my vestures did they cast lots. And sitting down, they watched him there. And they said over his head, his accusation was written, This is Jesus, the King of the Jews. That thou destroyest the temple and build it up in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of God, come down from the cross. Likewise also the chief priests mocked him, with the scribes and the elders said, He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God. Let him deliver him now, and he will have him, for he said, I am the Son of God. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over the land, and in the 9th hour, and about the 9th hour Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. And he said to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain, and the top from the bottom. And the earth did quake, and the rocks did rent. And when Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and laid it on his own new tomb, which he had hewn out of the rock, and rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre, and departed. And there was Mary Magdalene, and the other Mary, sitting over against the sepulchre. And the angel answered and said unto the women,
Don't be afraid. I know who you come for. The King has risen.
I said, dagnabbit, I don't know that man. And then we're gonna go to cock-a-doodle-doo.
Get up off that floor. I didn't know you. You was with that man.
This is why I told you. This wasn't
Boy,
going
you
to
gonna
work
die.
because I couldn't draw my sword.
You gonna die.
I told you.
I want y'all to help us. Come on, rise to your feet. I've got evidence here. I've got it. I've got confidence.
You will betray me.
I'm a conqueror. I know that I win. I know who I am.
You gonna have all power, all right? And everything I've done on this earth, you gonna do it even greater. You hear me? Internet's coming. You gonna reach millions and millions of people, all right? I can only reach 2,000 at a time. You gonna have 2 million.
Came to pass, when Jesus had finished all these things, he said unto his disciples,
May you bless this wine, which represents my blood.
It was a 6 foot something. Some odd pounds. And a 3 foot 4, 5 and a half, maybe 6.
Okay. They didn't have phones back then.
Hold on, let me get my phone. You get that shot? Hello. Hello. Hey. Hey. Let me give you a call back. I'm at practice. Uh-huh. Oh, okay then. All right, bye-bye.
Jesus, may I bless you?
Yes, my child.
Give me that. That's $29.99. That's expensive for 'em.
Yeah, we could have said that for the poor.
Leave this woman be. But I will not be with you always. Why I tell you the truth?
And mock Jesus.
Oh, God. Uh-oh.
Wake up! Behold, my treasure is at hand. Oh, dang.
Get in the sheet, girl. Give me a beat.
Step forward.
Brother, may I?
My hair coming out.
Yes, you may.
Step forward like that.
I didn't want to lose.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, do the Indian thing.
Sound like it's just raining. Don't get it twisted.
Put on what's the name? Come on. We both got to go up there.
Yes.
What are we doing?
What's my line?
What is it saying?
I had this whole song rolling through my head. He had spoken blasphemy. That didn't come out.
I'm going to give you the same power. That power is going to resurrect this whole generation. It's going to be so great.
Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Hey, you supposed to say bless me.
Boy, don't record because they told you not. You got the red dot gleaming, got to hit the spot. If I hit you in the head and I make you bleed, you be like my shirt, all bloody and red. Cause the cross I carry to the end. I did it for my family and my friends. Can get in, take the blood to be accepted. It's the way I get, the way I wreck it. I manifested prophecy to make it right.
Come on.
It's my choice to give you life. Don't have to fight, just have to choose. Already run is fixed, you ain't gonna lose. Just use your verbal math to make it happen.
Tag me in.
It ain't my fault attacking phones when I'm happy.
When I'm rapping, I'm rapping inside of the camera. I'm inside of the lens. You can't see me because I'm invisible. Ha!
She's cloak style. I'm coming through because I'm the most style. I get my spirit from the most high. That's why I'm able to ascend and fly and come back at you. Be up in the air. Look at my palms. You see them clear. They've been pierced, though, just like my ears got.